This is John Warner, and I'm the creator of Modstache. Modstache is a JavaScript library used to map JavaScript object properties to HTML properties and attributes. In this tutorial, I'll be using Visual Studio Code to install Modstache and display a message. To install Modstache, go to modstache.com, and you can install in several ways. You can click on the download button to download and put the files wherever you need them, or you can use npm install modstache. For today's demo, I will be using npm. In a terminal window, type the command npm install modstache. This downloads the modstache package and puts it in the current folder. Once that's done, it puts the files in a folder called node_modules. The files we're interested in are in the modstache package dist folder, and the two files are modstache.js and modstache-min.js, which is a minified version. Let's go to our HTML file and include modstache. Now I've created this HTML file with some simple styling to display our message. So first let's include modstache. You do this by adding a script block, and we'll add a source to our modstache file. We'll use the minified version, and then I'll create another script block and create our model. Now JavaScript objects are defined using curly braces, and the properties can be defined in those. Let's see, let's call this message and hello modstache. Now to utilize modstache in the document, I need to call the capital M underscore dot fill method and pass in a document fragment. In this case, I want to process the entire document, so I'll pass in document body, and I'll pass it in the model. And once I do that, Modstache will go through the entire body, and anything in there, it looks for a Modstache attribute attached to an element and assigns the appropriate property. So let's display our message. Your message is in double quotes, and then we need to define an element that we can assign the attribute. So I will define a span tag with the modstache attribute, which is defined by curly braces, and then in the double quotes I'll specify the property I want to display in the span. Let me save this file, refresh, and here we go. So you can see within the span, hello modstache comes directly from our JavaScript model. Now let's make this a little bit more interesting by adding an input where we can enter our message and demonstrate the reactive nature of modstache. So we'll say enter your message and specify an input of type text, and I'm just going to define a value attribute. Although I don't need this, it will assign to properties or attributes for the element, and value is a property, but I'm just going to define that visually. Next, I need to tell Modstache to populate this, and I'm going to initialize the value to the message. So to do that, I specify the property or attribute name, colon, and then the property in my model that I want to assign. Now this is a lot like defining a style with the colons and semicolons dividing the directives. Alright, let me save this and let's take a look. So here we can see that our message has been initialized. But you'll notice if I change the message in the text box, it doesn't modify our model. And we can do that in Modstache very simply by adding another directive using an event. So in this case, I'll use the onInput event for the input box and tell it to take the value from the input element and assign it back to message in the model. You do that with greater than sign. So let me save this, go back to the page, refresh, and now when I change my model, it goes back, or change the text, it goes back and changes the model automatically. And as I type, the onInput event is fired and updates my model automatically. And there you go, very simple to use.